Hello, Internet, and welcome back to Antiheroes Anonymous, or welcome for the first time if it's your first time joining us. I'm Ethan, and I'm the Dungeon Master for this 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons show. I will have some announcements and a recap for all of you, but before we dive into any of that, Nick, would you kindly kick off some player introductions?
Sure. Hi, I'm Nick. I play Embers of White Ash, the Sun-Salt Tabaxi Monk.
Hi, I'm Kay, and I play Lady Elwyn Amalos, who is the Elvish Circle of the Land Druid.
Hello, I'm Melissa. I play Tuppence Wiseacre, who is a wee pixie bard who's scared witless of snakes.
Hi, I'm Zach, and I play Vert, who is a changeling armor artificer.
I always think it's funny that Tuppence is scared of snakes when Melissa named her best friend character Indy. I don't know. Anyways, those announcements I mentioned, we premiere our episodes on YouTube every Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Throughout the show, we use a variety of custom items, as well as a custom pixie lineage, which Melissa is kindly playing in the form of Tuppence. The character portraits, which you'll see all over the layout, particularly on the info cards, were drawn by an artist named Krista Porter, goes by @KristaPorter with 2 R's on the end on Twitter. If you need a refresher on anything that's going on in this campaign, we have a campaign wiki at World Anvil, which has a convenient page called The Story So Far or something like that, which just chronicles everything that has happened so far. Other than that, you can check the video description for links and information to everything I just mentioned and more, including some links to Black Lives Matter and Stop Asian Hate resources. Finally, just hope you enjoy the show, share it with your friends, and come back to watch some more. So now that that's all out of the way, let's go ahead and roll the intro video. And welcome back. Previously on Antiheroes Anonymous, the Silver Seekers earned the deed to a keep in Amberhearth, and they are currently traveling north to their new home. A stop in Twintowns lasted several days as the Seekers dealt with threats to the locals and a group of bounty hunters hired to capture Rook, formerly known as Prince Verdnor of Vogma. Now, the group is back on the road, and they have another stop planned for the city of Fymyr. The goal is to take some time to do some research in the largest library in the Empire, and at least some of the group have high hopes for a romance novel-focused convention, which is occurring in town, featuring certain high-profile guests. But first, they have to get there, and so that is where we will pick up today. The group of you have put Twintowns behind you, making your way down the road in your wagon with the 2 little horses hitched up front. You've gotten to the point where you can no longer see the Broken Axe Tavern behind you, and with the weather kind of warming up, there's patches in the snow that are beginning to melt and thaw, and you have a nice sort of sunny, bright winter's day that kind of glares against the eyes of a couple of you. And you find yourselves back on the main road northward, with the next major city in your path being the capital of the worm-blessed state of Sergil, which is known as Fymyr. And with that, I will turn it over to the group of you, because I know some of you had things you wanted to talk about amongst the party. And then beyond that, we'll just see what happens. So the game is yours.
Yeah, I'll look back towards the town and say, wow, we can't even see the golden anchor anymore.
Well, it wasn't that big of an anchor, Rook, Torin says. It was sparkly, though.
It was pretty nice, wasn't it?
We sure got close to everybody really quickly. I'm gonna miss them.
Mm-hmm.
They did promise to visit though, so that helps, right?
It's a long way. I wouldn't hold my breath.
Well, we'll keep the embers glowing.
So there's a little bit of I guess kind of a quiet lull as the group of you recover from the ordeal that was Twintowns and all of the, the hustle and bustle that happened there. You pass through, a couple small villages here and there as you're making your way north. But for the most part, the first day or two passes pretty quietly.
I know you're holding your breath because I said there was something I wanted to talk about, but it's not like I'm going to bring it up in the middle of a wagon with everyone around me.
Okay, that's a good point. That's a good point.
And, Rook decided he was going to start a stupid conversation. So, going to let that one slide.
Well, I mean, the first day of travel passes, and you do have an opportunity when you're resting at night before, another day cramped in the wagon comes. So you could talk about something there if you wanted to, or if not, we can just wait till the next day and I will roll on my encounter table and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think the first night out of town, making camp, I will approach Rook and ask to go on a walk through the woods with me, please.
Sure.
Yeah. Get him away from the rest of the group. And when we're far enough away, I will kind of look at him and say, well, it sounds like the group wants to go to Fymyr after all.
Yeah.
I know the last time we talked about it, we were still a little unsure if that was the smartest plan.
I mean, it's probably not, but
especially with what's happened.
Right.
I don't know what we should tell Torin and Malt. Obviously, you can't walk in looking like this.
That would be a mistake.
Yeah.
So I'll need to pick a different disguise. But yeah, we should. I mean, at this point, if we're going there, we have to I guess we have to come clean to some degree with Torin and Malt.
That's completely up to you. And I'll stand by your decision. But we don't have that much time left before we get there. We need to make a decision.
Well, I don't see how we can abandon Rook and pick somebody else up in the middle of nowhere.
Without telling them the truth.
Right? Like, I feel like that's the only reasonable option if we're going there. Unless we had the foresight to be like, Rook's going to stay in Twintowns and help Ferry or something.
Well, I kind of thought that's what we were going to do, but one thing led to another.
Yeah, it sure did. So we're onto a plan B that we didn't think about.
Bert, I think we need to tell them about Kalea too.
Well, now
I
I don't
know-
even know about Kalea. I know that I don't like her.
Well, you did avoid her in Port Horizon Shroud, and I don't think that went unnoticed. And, the last thing that Embers and Tubbs and I heard was that we were invited to see her when we dropped into Fymyr. And I know that I would like to avoid that now if we can. I'd like to fly under the radar, but she might be looking out for us, especially since we helped out.
I mean, as long as we don't throw our name around everywhere, maybe she won't. She's probably busy and doesn't have...
Consider who we have with us, though. I mean, not just Torin, but like Tuppence' songs, and
yeah.
I don't know if we'll be able to have as low of a profile as we would like.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean,
At least we can try to talk to them about it. But
Sure.
again, I don't know how much you want to share with them.
I don't know either. As little as possible, but I think given the circumstance, I don't really have a choice.
This is like what we talked about back in Port Horizon Shroud too.
Yeah.
Like, any information that we can share that will keep them out of danger, keep them aware of what the situation might be is best.
Yeah. At this point, I mean, I think we kind of have to just. I have to just share more than I'd like to. I don't think there's really a way out of it.
Are you prepared to do that as early as today, or do you want to wait a couple days?
I think at this point it doesn't really matter when. Probably earlier is better.
I think the sooner we can get you into new disguise, the better too.
Yeah. Yep, I think so too.
All right. Well, I will let you choose the moment.
Okay.
And then they can finish their stroll, head back to the group.
Back at the camp, did Embers, Tuppence, Torin, and Malt get up to anything?
I don't know. Not that I can think of.
Okay. I know that Torin at least would be clinging a little bit, sticking a little bit closer to Embers than before. And kind of just a lot of the time you catch him just sort of grinning broadly as he kind of looks out into space. Whatever is running through his mind, he seems pretty happy about it. But yeah, he just kind of like quietly sticks closer to Embers than he did before, it seems.
I think maybe I would misread his happiness and just say, "Are you excited to get to Fymyr?"
What? Yeah, sure. I mean, there's a lot of interesting things going on in Fymyr from what I hear, but no, I was thinking about well, you convinced me to come on this journey saying we could do some actual good. And I mean, I believed you in the moment, but then we started traveling and we were on the road for so many days and we got to Twintowns and I spent the first part just tending the bar. And I don't know, I was starting to doubt it, but then, we fought off all those undead and we went and there were those tentacles and we calmed the blizzard. I just feel like we actually did some real good there at the end.
There'll be more of that in the days to come, I think. Can I share with you a secret, Torin?
Of course,
I haven't really.
he says loudly.
Yeah, this is a terrible idea. Why would I tell Torin anything I wanted to keep secret? I
This is a
haven't.
good case study.
Yeah, and this is why Elwyn and Vert left to go discuss something private. I haven't told the others this yet, but I have a big plan.
He kind of leans in conspiratorially.
I was thinking about how the 4 or 5 of us now aren't going to be enough to stand up against this League of Terrors. And so I would like to recruit more people and make something big of the Silver Seekers. Kind of make it like an agency where people can come to get help with what they need when no one else will help them.
Interesting. I don't know if that's ever been done before, he says.
I thought about maybe trying to recruit Fritz to our cause too, but I didn't really have the nerve to ask him outright. And I don't think he understood what I meant.
He did seem a little skittish around most of us, there towards the end.
Mm-hmm. But
well, we got off to a bad start, but maybe he'll come around.
Maybe. I invited him to visit us in case he's ever there. Anyway, that's my plan. That's my dream.
I like the idea. I do. I don't know if I've told you this before. I know I've told some members of the group, but one of my biggest heroes growing up was, Governor Nyasa. There's a legendary story about how she, rallied the Imperial Wardens in her hometown to fight off a troll that was devastating the surrounding farms. And well, it's how she got her status and eventually got the notoriety and became governor. And, she started just by doing that one good thing, protecting a town.
Mhm.
I've just always wanted to be a bit like that. And I feel like you've given me that chance. So he kind of claps you hard on the back. Thank you, Embers.
You're welcome.
And then he just goes back to grinning broadly and kind of looking up at the stars.
Yeah.
But you can almost like see the cogs turning in his head as he's sort of thinking about what you've just said. Obviously it's Torin, so he probably hasn't thought about it too deeply, but you can tell that he likes the idea, at least at the surface level.
Okay.
Did Tuppence do anything?
Tuppence would like to attune to the barrier needle.
Oh, okay. What part of your skin do you hold it to?
I think I'm going to put it on my right thigh.
Okay. As you touch the needle to your right thigh, it's got this like dark, shiny blackish liquid in it that you recognize as being sort of the same liquid as Vert's armor. But as you hold it to your skin and sort of begin that magical attunement process to it, you find that you have sort of the mental will to shape, the size and design of it as it begins to flow into your skin. But not only that, it seems like whatever strain of or alloy of the metal this is, it seems like you have the capacity to even like change its color, but it will always retain that sort of metallic sheen to it. So what does Tuppence's tattoo, what sort of tattoo does she design for herself there mentally as she completes the process?
So Tepi is all about nature. She loves purple, but she wears purple a lot. So I think it's going to be the shape and color of an iris.
Okay, the iris, the flower, I assume.
Mhm.
Yeah, so the metal flows into you and it begins to slowly change to that sort of it's a purplish color, isn't it? Iris is. Yeah, that sort of purplish color. And when it's done, it looks pretty much like exactly as it was in your mind's eye. Mind's eye. I don't know why I'm having trouble talking today. Shut up. I see you laughing at me, Kay. And yeah, you have this beautiful little flower tattoo right on your thigh.
I'm going to breathe out a little bit. That was a little bit scary, but I did it. And I'm proud. Okay. Now let's see what this does.
How do you want to test it?
I'm going to go up to Embers and say, punch me.
No.
I'll do it, Torin says.
Okay. Not too hard though.
I rolled an 18 on the dice, so I think that does still hit.
Yeah.
But as Torin throws this punch at you and you kind of twist to angle it so that the punch is coming more at your thigh than like at your head or something like that, you notice that a sort of purplish magical shield springs up off of the tattoo and attempts to block it, but there's just so much force behind it, and like Torin's fist is as big as you are, and it just basically sends you spinning across the camp through the air.
Okay. All right. Do I take damage?
Nope.
Okay.
Empress punches Torin. Don't punch her just because she
Ow.
says punch her.
Well, she asked.
Well, it was a dumb request. You shouldn't listen to her when she's like this.
Didn't you want to set up an organization that did, whatever people, tasks that people wouldn't do for them otherwise? And he gives you like a hard look, shouting your secret plan to the rest of the camp.
Case study closed.
Yep. Case in point.
Okay.
That's
And
it.
then I guess Elwyn and Vert could come back sometime shortly thereafter. And yeah, unless you wanted to have further conversations, the night will pass.
Heavens, your new tattoo looks great. Is that from that
Oh.
needle we found?
Yeah, I'm not a very good artist, but it seemed to know what it was doing, if you know what I mean. I just kind of thought about it and there it happened.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
I like
I
it a
love it.
lot. Yeah,
I love it.
suits you.
Embers mutters to Vert, if she asks you to punch her, do not do it.
Vert nods. Okay. I will not.
What does it do?
It kind of helps protect me in battle. I tried to test it out, but Ember said no. But anyway, I saw this kind of cool little purple, like little shield come out from the thigh
That's
to kind of
incredible.
protect me. But Torin, he's really huge. It's not going to do anything against Torin.
Well, I reckon that's why we bring him along in the first place, right?
Yep.
He does the whole thing where he like puts a hand behind his head and looks kind of sheepish.
Yeah, so I'll just.
Did you guys have a nice
chit-chat with him.
walk?
Yeah, the forest around here is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
All sorts of little critters living out there.
Rolls his eyes at Tumpens. Yeah, I think once we sort of settle, maybe you're like around the campfire, maybe we're eating or something, then I'll shift around a little bit and be like, all right, we need to have a quick conversation about something. So
Malt, you can see that Malt kind of perks up at that. He'd been lurking at kind of the edges of the campfire.
Oh no,
Yeah.
didn't want to hear my secret plan.
I rolled a perception check for him, and it was like 10. So
Okay.
I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
even when Tornin's like, wow, wow, wow.
Well, I'm gonna say no. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I'll say. So some of you may know, but since we're approaching Fymyr, we're gonna need to take care of something. All right. So I am needing to. You kind of stalls for a little bit, like clearly not prepared to have this conversation. Like, oh gosh, okay, here we go. What am I gonna
Torin
say?
puts an arm on your shoulder and says, "Listen, Rook, whatever you need, you're among friends here."
All right. I'm wanted there and in other places, and so I can't easily walk around that city. So I'm gonna need to disguise myself for this part of the journey while we're in a big city.
Yeah, Torin's brow kind of furrows, and he says, "Wanted? Oh, wanted for what?"
It doesn't
I
really
mean,
matter at this point.
Kalea, she owes. She said that she owes the group of you a favor. Maybe she'd be able to waive it or something.
She doesn't. Well,
she's the legate of this whole state.
yeah. Well, like I said, it's in other places too, so it's really not an option. You have to just trust me on this one. If she finds out who I am, and so.
Let's see. I rolled an 8 on insight, so Torin's kind of like nodding at this.
Do you want me to roll
That
something too?
tracks.
Could you roll a persuasion check or a deception check? I guess it's not really deception since you kind of are wanted. So
Okay, so you want like a
Not lying.
persuasion or?
yeah.
Okay, so it's an 18 on the die, so it's 22 total.
Yeah, Torin kind of like nods along with this, and he says, "All right, well then, maybe we can pick up some disguises in one of these villages we're passing through."
Well, I already have, and he like motions to his belongings. He's like, I already have a kit ready for that. I just need to come up with a new alias and
I was about to
identity.
ask what we should call you.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm gonna need to think about it a little bit, and then maybe come up with a small like story or reason and some other things. But anyways, I just wanted to make sure you guys were all aware that I'm gonna be doing that, and to keep things sort of keep the information carefully tucked away.
Lord Emwyn.
Another
That
eye roll.
wouldn't be suspicious at all.
Yeah, let's not work with nobility titles here. Just something, something easy to pass by. Yeah. So.
Well, listen, Rook. I think I speak for the group here when I say that when you're ready to trust us with your secret about why you are wanted, we're here. We'll support you.
Thanks, Torin. Yeah, I'll.
And you can see Malt rolls his eyes at that.
Poor Torin. Like the only one. Yeah, I'll. Thank you.
You're welcome, Rook. You're welcome.
Okay.
And just, let us know what name and alias you decide on so that we can practice in advance.
Sure.
So none of us slip up.
Yeah, that'd be great. Looks at particular members of the group. Yeah. Let's make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah, he nods, like seriously.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for
lots of
helping me
secrets today. Lots of secrets.
Oh, yeah. You heard another one? You've been talking to Malt? He's full of secrets.
No, I haven't spoken to Malt all night.
Very interesting.
Torin kind of realizes that he's made a mistake there. I have to... And he just like stands up and walks into the woods.
All right, take inspiration.
He walks
Not
away.
give the DM inspiration.
Give Torin inspiration. He needs it.
I'll forget I have it though, so it's okay. Yeah.
Oh man.
Okay. The rest of the night, I guess, would pass pretty uneventfully. It's just kind of a nice. It's not really warm, because there's still like snow on the ground, kind of making it, cold. But it's definitely warmer than the temperatures you've had, especially as you're moving farther and farther north. The next day of travel passes and you pass through a couple more small villages, and the road just kind of winds steadily northward. And on the third day, that's probably a good time for a random encounter. Let's just see what happens. What did I have to have someone do originally? I think it's like a D4.
I think it was like 2 D4s.
So it's a D4 to start, and then we'll see what table we roll on after that.
Oh yeah. I'll roll the D4. Since that's like D4 is my whole thing. 1.
Okay. It's not a 3, so it's something new.
That's right.
Then it is, yes, it's another D4 to decide from that table.
I volunteer Zach.
I will accept the volunteering.
I thought you were going to do both of them.
Let me find.
I feel like someone else should get. It's
second
2
one.
rolls, and we're gonna have probably 2 of these, so spread it around.
I match your 1 with a 1.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. Okay.
Rolled 1.
The group of you are So Elwyn, Rook, and Sol, you have kind of the back of the wagon to yourselves as Torin is sort of up in the front guiding the horses, and Embers, I think you said you prefer to kind of like walk ahead of the wagon a little bit.
Mhm.
I'd imagine Tuppence is kind of doing the same, kind of flapping here and there. And you come to
What am I
you're going
about?
through sort of like a wooded section, with the woods coming pretty much right up next to the road. And eventually you come to like a small, it's a little bit bigger than a creek, a little bit smaller than a river. Just a section of water that kind of bisects the road. And there's a wooden bridge that goes up over the over the water. And as the wagon kind of, its wheels thunking as it goes along, rolls up over this wooden bridge, you hear a sound coming from the woods. So there's a rustling in the trees nearby. And the rustling, it gets louder, it gets a little bit closer, and then something bursts from the treetops and kind of flies up, silhouetted against the sun. And it's kind of hard to make out what it is because it's another one of those sort of bright, wintry days, and there's like light reflecting off the remaining snow on the ground. But as it's silhouetted up there against the sun, this thing roars. And let's hop to roll 20 and roll initiative.
Wow.
No.
What happens
You
when I
rolled-
roll all ones?
You roll a combat encounter.
All right.
I'll drag it over to the new tundra map I made.
Ooh.
At your wish.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Cool.
I guess I need to pull up the encounter. Shoot, I didn't make one for this thing, did I? Yikes.
I love the look of these trees. It's really pretty.
Yeah, aren't they really cool? Let's see. I didn't make an encounter for this one specifically, but I can do it really quick thanks to D&D Beyond. Just real quick, subtract this from the encounter, add this to the encounter. No, that's not the one. There we go. And save. Good to go. All right, so how did Embers do?
22.
Ooh, probably first. Elwyn?
5.
Ooh,
Sure, Tuppence got 23.
Tuppence?
7.
Ooh, last
7.
place.
Vert?
9.
And we don't have a con anymore. I need to remove him from the list. That's okay. And we'll auto roll for Torin. Torin rolled the lowest out of all of you out of 3. Okay. So as expected, Embers, you are the first to act. And so I will give you kind of a better idea of what you're facing. Probably about, what is it in terms of distance from here? Like about 40 feet over into the woods, and then maybe another like 60 feet up into the air. You look, basically, you look up towards this thing silhouetted against the sun, and as you gaze upon it, you can see that it kind of has a weird mix of features. It seems to have like a very feline body, and it's large. It's probably, as big as your horses, probably a little bit bigger. But it has, instead of, a regular like feline neck, it has this sort of super elongated neck, almost like, well, I don't know. It's much longer than it should be. And then it has these big leathery wings that it's using to push itself up into the air. And I'll now reveal the token. There we go.
Oh,
B.
see.
And you can see that it's about to swoop towards your horses.
Ooh, okay. Um, so you said it's about 40 feet up, right?
It's about 40 feet away from you and about 60 feet up.
Oh, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can I climb one of these trees and still see it?
Yeah, if you like race to the top with your climbing speed, sure.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm probably about let's see how far can I? Yeah, I can get about 20 feet up, which is in range of my sunbolts. So I'm gonna fire off 2 of those. Let's try
Okay.
and get its attention away from the horses. That one out of my dice tray. Does a 15 hit?
A 15 misses.
Now then they both miss.
Uh-oh.
So yeah, because you climb up the tree and you get out of the tree's shade, and once again you have the sun glaring down on you, and this thing is like silhouetted against the sun, and so both of your bolts just go wide. But you can see that just by virtue of like moving within its kind of field of vision, it seems like you did draw its attention somewhat.
That's good.
Whether you pulled it completely away from the horses, we'll find out.
That's the end of my turn.
Then it is its turn. Let's roll just a real quick check. Okay. It looks between Embers and the horses, and seeing that Embers is kind of a smaller target and probably easier to pick up, it swoops down with its 60 feet of movement to get pretty much right up near where you're at the top of the tree. And let's see, what can this thing actually do?
Booga, booga, booga.
Actually, you know what? Before it swoops down, we'll use a different action. It lets out a horrible roar that just kind of like grates against your ears, and it feels like it has this sort of like visceral effect on all of you. Everyone within, oh no, it's only within 30 feet. Never mind, I'll save it then. Yeah, it'll come and swoop down and try and claw at Embers. 1 bite, 2 claws. Now that's going to be a hit with a 19 on the dice. That claw is probably a miss out of 10.
Yeah, that misses.
And an 18 for the second claw.
That's just hits.
Okay. So for the bite, you take 15 piercing damage as this thing gets its massive jaws basically into your shoulder. And can you make a strength saving throw?
Not my best. 9.
What happens when you fall prone in a tree?
I guess I fall out.
Could you make a dexterity saving throw as well? And we'll see if you can catch a branch on your way down.
What is with these rolls today? It's a 7.
No!
You've got to
Embers
use a different die.
No, sorry,
Embers
that's a 9.
falls out of the tree.
Yeah. I'm
Um,
gonna use my reaction to slow fall.
Nice. Okay. So how much you can reduce a bunch
how
of
much
damage
damage
with
was
that? So it would have been 2d6. Wow, high rolls. 9.
Okay. I can use my reaction to reduce fall damage by 20.
Okay. Well, the good news is you actually fall out of its range of its claw.
Mhm.
So you don't take that second claw attack.
Nice.
And then
Cats always land
Let's
on their feet, so you're fine.
I think it will kind of swoop down over the river after that.
Okay.
And Vert.
So is it near the ground right now?
It's about 10 feet over the river.
So if I stood below it, could I reach it or no? You said 10 feet over, so is it just
Yeah.
out of range?
It'd be out of range. And plus, you don't know how deep this river is.
Yeah, I was just wondering about this spot right there on the shore, basically.
Oh, yeah, you'd be out of range there.
Okay.
Because it's like 10 feet up as well.
So I will use my action to step into my armor and equip that. And I will move right here to block it from, I guess, the horses, because it was looking at the horses. And I will use my bonus action. Whoops. Yeah, I'm just going to have Soul fly next to Tuppence and use my bonus action to have him shoot at the monster.
Okay. Now that it's not being blocked by the sun, you can see that there's actually a slight difference between this one and what's shown in the token, which is that the one in the token has very like lion-like features. But this one is almost like a saber-toothed lion. It has really big tusks coming down.
Well, Soul miss, he rolled natural 1, so that's not happening. And that is my turn.
Okay. Tuppence.
Okay, Tuppy is going to fly a little closer, over to Embers. Let's see, 5, 10, 15, go right here and cast Healing Word at 2nd level,
Thank you.
which is 2d4. Yay. Okay. Plus my spell casting modifier, which is I think 4. Okay, so you get 9 HP back.
Not bad.
And I'll stay over there for the time being. Okay. So that's a bonus action. So for my action, let's do a vicious mockery. Why not?
Mock this lion drake.
Okay. So say, you make a lot of noise for someone who says nothing.
It rolled a natural 1 on its save. How much damage does it take?
Okay, let's see. 154. You rolled really well. Let's see. Ooh, max damage for
4 points of
psychic.
psychic damage.
And he
yeah,
has
it kind of shakes its head.
Disadvantage on his next attacks.
That will probably be very good for you. Elwyn.
How are you looking, Embers, after Tuppence healed you?
I'm all right. Don't worry about me.
You're all right. Okay. Yeah, then in that case, I'm going to lean my head out the wagon and take a look at this thing. Have you ever seen anything like this before?
It's very much an empire creature, but it is like, since it's a saber-toothed lion drake, it is like a tundra creature. So I'd say maybe you haven't seen one, but you've read about them. They're kind of lesser cousins of the dragons. They, the regular, or there's one breed of lion drakes that kind of is more plains oriented. And then there's this saber-tooth variety that's more tundra oriented. They're vicious, but they're kind of opportunistic. So it's possible that you don't have to kill this one and you could just hurt it enough to scare it and it would fly away.
Okay, great. Well, then I'm going to, as I lean out the wagon and assess the situation, I'll just yell at the group. If we hurt it enough, we might be able to scare it off. And I reach my hand out and I make a fist, kind of grabbing the air, and I pull my hand down and I summon a beam of moonlight on top of it.
Cool. Okay.
Moonbeam.
That takes effect at the start of its turn, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Torin
And that's my
Brenwarm.
turn.
Torin climbs up on the back of the wagon, pulls out his sword, and is going to try and jump on this thing because it's like the wagon's about 10 feet tall.
Don't
it's
enter
flying
the
about 10
moonbeam.
feet.
Don't
He's
jump into the
doing it.
moonbeam.
He's doing it.
Okay, he'll have to make a con save.
Well, only
he
if he
makes
starts
it.
his turn, right? Or is it
No,
if
no,
he
no.
enters
If he
too?
enters
Okay.
it for the first time on his turn as well.
He does enter it because he rolled a 15 on dice, and Torin has a pretty decent strength
So I
bonus.
pull this down just as I see Torin jumping. I'm like, wait, no!
Ah! It's cold damage though, right? Heal of resistance.
It's radiant damage.
It is.
Oh no, it's radiant.
Radiant damage.
Right.
Con
Um,
save.
Con save. Well, he's pretty good at
Mhm.
those. 16 plus
Yeah, that
2,
passes, so he'll
18.
take half. Yeah, he'll take half of this, which is I rolled really well. Half of 14, 7 points
Wow.
of radiant damage. Yeah, it's 2d10, y'all.
But he leaps onto this dragon, and is going to make his 2 attacks.
If he misses,
Here we go.
I'm gonna be so upset.
Well, one of them's a miss because he rolled a 3 plus a 6, so
he
that's
has
a 9.
inspiration though.
And the other one is a miss too. Oh my gosh, Torin! He missed by 1 because he rolled a 15 and not a 16.
So distracted by the flames engulfing him as soon as he jumps into the beam.
He rolled fantastic on his jump and fantastic on his con save, and then just biffed it with the attacks. Poor Torin. Okay, Embers, you're up.
Okay. Empress has seen now firsthand the dangers of getting too close to the thing to the moonbeam, so I'm just gonna.
Well, it's
Spending-
only a 5-foot radius though, so
Yeah, yeah.
let me put it on the map.
So I'm just gonna spend the key point and do 3 sunbolt attacks. Okay, these are way better. The 14 will miss, but the other 2 25s will have hit.
Okay. Well, now Torin's trapped under the thing. Oh well, that's fine.
And that is 14 radiant damage.
I could do the damage on the token if I could unselect Torin. There we go.
Bring Torin up to the top, and I'll draw the circle somewhere else and drag it over.
To front. There we go. Sweet. Okay. Yeah, the radiant bolt sears into this creature, and it kind of looks back over at you. Apparently, it looks like it thought you were dead. Its turn comes around, unless there's anything else Embers wants to do.
Nope.
Con save.
And yes, that's what I was going to say. It rolled pretty well. A 20 total.
Yeah, that passes,
So,
but it
half.
still takes half, which is I rolled 14 again, so 7 points of radiant damage.
Pretty good. So this thing is getting seared by radiant damage on 2 sides now. It will fly out of the moonbeam.
Does Torin get an OA?
No, it's taking Torin with him.
Okay.
And it'll be, so actually it'll come here and fly like 15 feet over the water now. And it will just let out that grating roar that I was talking about. And now everyone is within 30 feet of it. So I need wisdom saving throws all around.
Do I get advantage on this one?
If you attune to that item, then yes.
Hey, that's gonna be a pass. Dirty 20 for me. Nope, 21.
How did Rook do?
7.
Okay, that's a failure. Elwyn,
15.
what was that?
15.
That's a pass. Tuppence,
You're muted.
Tuppence got a 10.
that's also a failure. And Soul,
5.
yikes.
no.
Okay, and then Torin failed too. So everyone who failed is frightened. And if you rolled a 9 or less, you are also paralyzed.
Hmm.
So I don't know if that affects anyone.
Me and Soul.
You can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of your turns. Yeah, and it looks like it affected both of the horses as well. And you can see that this Drake is ready to swoop on one of them and just like pull it out of here now. Vert, you're up.
Okay, I am paralyzed.
Okay. Let's see.
So paralyzed says incapacitated, so I can basically only do reactions.
Bonus
I think?
actions, I think.
Or bonus actions. Okay. Well, if I have a bonus action, yeah, I mean I can control soul, but then he can't do anything either because he's also paralyzed. So
Well, if you just end your turn without doing anything, you can make the saving throw.
yep, I think that's what I will do. Okay, so I'll make my saving throw. Okay, that's pretty good. It's a 15.
That passes.
Okay, and I'll make soul saving throw. That's an 8.
That's still a failure.
Crap, I'm really useful. That's it.
Tuppence.
Hmm.
So you didn't fail by 5 or more, right?
Right, I had a 10.
Yeah, so you made it within. So you're just frightened.
Okay, so I can't go closer, but it is within 30. Okay, I'm going to cast Bane if everybody's healed, everybody's okay, HP wise.
Yeah.
And that is a charisma.
Charisma save for the Lion Drake. I think it succeeds. I rolled a 17 on this one.
If only he had Bane.
Yeah, if only he had Bane to roll against Bane.
Okay, so I think that's nothing happens.
Yeah, I think so, unfortunately.
Okay.
Anything else you want to do on your turn? You'd still have your bonus action and your movement.
Okay, let's see. I'm just gonna okay. I'm going to move away from him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, over there.
Okay, and then you get to make another wisdom saving throw at the end of your turn.
Oh, that's better. That's a wisdom is +1, I think. Okay, so that's 13 + 1, 14.
That's a success. It's just what you needed, actually.
Phew.
So you're no longer frightened. And then Elwyn, you're up.
Okay, so I'm going to shout, I'm so sorry about that, Torin. And I'm going to cast Healing Word on Torin, send a
Aw.
flurry of snowflakes over to him at a first level. So let's see, that is 1d4 + 4. 5.
5.
5 HP back.
That's
And
pretty
then I'll use my action and my other hand to pull the moonbeam over. Oh, that was the
Sorry.
sound of the moonbeam.
Yeah, that's the sound it makes as it moves.
So
The
that it's
blitzbeam.
Put it back on the thing. Cool.
putting it back on the thing. So he'll have to make another check or saving throw on its turn.
Okay. Good old Torin is now afraid. Okay. While afraid, Torin will open his jaws and just breathe out this icy breath, since that's not affected by the frightened condition.
Oh,
So this-
sorry. I think I'm going to move on my turn and I'm going to get in the driver's seat of the carriage and grab the reins.
That's probably a good call.
Yeah.
Um,
And I'm just going to start coaxing the horses, try to talk to them and stuff. But yeah, that's it.
The Lion Drake succeeds on its saving throw, but it still takes half of the cold damage from Torin's breath, which is not a lot, but it's some. It's more than his 2 attacks did last time. And then I'll make a new saving throw for Torin. And that's a natural one. He's still afraid. Poor Torin. Okay.
He's like, why did I do this?
He's hanging on to it still somehow. Embers, you're up.
All right. Embers lets out a yell and moves closer to the Drake to show it that she's not afraid. And it's going to make 3 more attacks. 13 misses, the other 2 hit. The other one's like a 19 and that's 25.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm not just like,
No, I trust you. I do. And you know
Uh,
it's AC now, so
yeah. So that's 12 radiant damage. It's the lowest possible score.
wow. Okay. Yeah,
Rolled
this
one on both damage die.
this thing is starting to look pretty battered. But then if that's the end of your turn,
Mhm.
then it's this thing's turn. So I'll do a con save.
Save.
It's 11 plus 3 for 14.
Failure. But
Okay.
guess what? I rolled 7. So I take 7 radiant damage.
Always 7. Okay. It like looks at this beam that is coming out of the sky and like lets out this roar at it, and will once again try to fly out of it. It'll fly around to this side of the cart. And we'll try and grab one of these horses. Wow, it did not do great.
Remember to have it's a disadvantage too.
Yeah, it would be an
Oh yeah, it would be. Wow, that's even worse. The first one was a 6, the second one was a 3, plus its strength, which is only that. So yeah, on its first attempt, it doesn't manage to get one of these horses in its grip. I'm gonna give it another try. This time it does. With one claw, it kind of reaches out, and the horse just kind of like, even though it's paralyzed, manages to shy away from it. But the second one, it gets both of its claws around the horse and begins to pull upward. It had to use how much movement to get over here? 5, 15, 20, 30. We'll say it has about 30 feet. So it gets about 15 feet up in the air with the horse, and the wagon is like starting to come up with it. And we'll see what
Oh, no.
happens. We'll see what happens next. But that's as far as it gets.
So it flew above me, right? I couldn't have taken a OA or anything.
No, I counted its movement going around you.
Okay.
Yeah. It has quite a bit of movement. It's got 60. But it is your turn, Vert.
Okay, well, I kind of have a bridge now between the wagon still being on the ground and the horse in the air. So I'm going to run
Mhm.
atop the wagon and jump on this thing with Torin.
Cool.
And I'm going to yell to Torin and be like, pin its wings! Make it fall back down to the ground! And so I'm going to try and with my 9 strength, I will try and grab one of the wings to keep it from flapping.
All right, let's do this.
Okay.
Roll your athletics check.
All right. Yep. This is going to be good.
Looking to beat a 17.
Bardic
Oh,
inspiration.
No, that's not a
You
reaction.
have to
Late.
do that on your turn.
Yeah.
yeah.
Wait.
Good to get it's
I have a
the
question.
other one.
I have a question. Did I have to beat a 17 or get a 17?
I'd say if you get a 17,
I got a
it would count.
17. I rolled
Okay.
an 18 minus 1. I got a 17.
I'll say like it's not a perfect pin. Torin's gonna have to get the other one, but
Like it's
you
still like
so,
I'm still like kind of
yeah.
moving with it like, oh dang.
uh-huh.
Okay.
Pretty good. You've got it down pretty okay. You're like pinning it with your heavy armor.
Oh shoot. What was
Cool.
the what were you saying, Melissa? Something Bardic something?
Gotta wait.
Oh, okay.
Gotta wait for my turn.
Oh, Bardic
Wanted to give you
Inspiration.
Bardic
I see.
Inspiration. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your
Okay.
turn is right now, though, Tuppence.
Yeah,
unless
I'm gonna
Vert has other
roll.
stuff.
I'm gonna roll Souls
Give
thingy.
it to Torin though.
I don't think I have any bonus actions I want to use
Woohoo.
either. No, I don't want that. Let me see here. Did the horses get a chance to get out of the paralyze, or are they just not gonna?
They're not
They're
wise
not gonna-
enough,
okay,
really. Yeah.
Right. Hmm.
It's like natural prey instinct plus
So
supernatural roar power.
I'm considering if I've used Sanctuary on the horse that's grappled, would that do anything for it at this point, or
probably not now that
Probably
it's
not.
grappled.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright. Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna roll Souls thing and then I'm done. Okay, so you got a 12.
So that's a miss. Oh, for his save. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a failure.
Yep.
Mhm.
Poops. That's it.
Tuppence.
Okay.
Is Soul at least not paralyzed now?
That's a good question. How does this work? Let's see. Creature that fails a save by 5 or more is paralyzed for the same duration. A creature can repeat the saving throw at the end of its turns,
Oh,
ending the
okay.
effect on itself on a success. So yeah, I think it's either you're frightened or you're paralyzed, and that sticks for the duration.
Gotcha.
Okay, well, he's still paralyzed, but good to know.
Okay, so Tuppy will yell over to Torin and say, "You look really good riding that Drake. You can do it," giving him Bardic Inspiration.
Yeah, he'll shout
And-
out back, I was thinking about taming this thing.
And then I'm gonna cast Dissonant Whispers.
Okay. Is that a
At-
wisdom save?
At second level.
Oh god.
That's only a 11.
Oh no.
Okay.
So that's a failure.
Oh no.
Oh no!
Oh
It's got the horse
no. Oh
and the
no.
But
cart,
it's-
And Torin,
and now it's
and
gonna
me.
lose.
unless we kill it.
Let's give me a second. Let's see how much damage this does, because then something might happen.
Okay. It's gonna be 46 at second level.
Wait a second. Am I technically
of the three of us?
hang on.
means.
Am I technically grappling it because then its speed is 0?
No, not really.
Crap. Okay, I tried, guys. That's all I had.
But it also says it has to immediately use its reaction to move as far as its speed
Yeah, but-
allows.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's
but
what we're
it
worried
currently has the wagon. That's the problem. But
But
Do
couldn't that mean that it goes down?
do your damage first. We'll see.
we'll find out what happens. Just let's have the damage first.
18.
18.
Oh, that's a lot.
That's
That is
good.
quite a bit. Okay.
The
So
creature
that-
doesn't move into obviously dangerous ground.
Mhm.
So
So normally that would mean this thing, like naturally it's going to fly up, but you've put it below the HP threshold I had for where this thing will try and run away. So what I need from each of you, potentially try to run away anyways, I need a group intimidation check from all of you,
Oh no!
including Torin.
All right.
Torin's going to use his Bardic Inspiration on this.
Hmm.
Not bad.
I have proficiency in intimidation.
Torin rolled a 16. That's one success. How did...
I rolled a 3. So she
Okay,
left
that's
us with
one failure. How did Vert do?
I rolled a natural 1. I'm like,
That's 2 failures. Okay.
Oh no!
I'm
Elwyn?
not very intimidating.
15.
That's another success. Tuppence?
16.
Deciding
No!
vote. This thing is afraid. It drops the horse and flies up 60 feet.
Oh my gosh!
With us?
With Torin and Vern.
I will give... just roll like an initiative check. Both of you. Both
Alright.
you and Torin.
I'm not using this dice right now. Natural 1. Let me find. I can't. Oh, here it is. I got a 11.
So I'll give you a choice. You can go with it, or you could fall off right now where you are.
What's Torin doing?
Torin is letting go and falling back into the river.
I am also letting go.
Okay, so the two of you splash down into the water as this thing turns tail and flies up into the air 60 feet, just afraid of Tuppence's spell.
I think I scared it off.
Yeah, take that. Yeah.
I am administering to the horses. I am calming them down.
Okay.
I am giving them-
Roll
making
an
sure
animal
that
handling check.
It's not. Yeah, sure. All right. Hey, I actually am proficient in these. Eight.
It almost looks like they're not even registering your presence right now.
Dang it.
They're still paralyzed with fear for the moment.
I'm just gonna keep working on them.
Does anyone do anything, or do you just kind of let this thing fly away?
It's
Mm,
already past my range.
Yeah, Torin doesn't have anything either, so he just kind of lays there in the river for a minute.
Is it
I'll
within
go
120
help
feet?
Torin up, I guess.
I'm gonna throw a firebolt at it.
I'm gonna say to Torin, you need to work on your landings.
Yeah, I know. It was cool when I got on the thing, though, right?
Mm-hmm. Very heroic.
How cool would it have been if we could have tamed it?
I don't think that would have happened.
We could have had a flying cart.
He looks at you and says, "Do you think so?"
No, I don't.
Oh, okay. What was that, Rook? What were you gonna do?
I'm gonna throw a firebolt at it.
Go for it.
Yeah, okay.
Just for good measure before it flies
Yeah.
away.
I got an 18 to hit.
That hits. Yeah,
9 damage.
it survives, but it flies off into the distance.
Ah, get out of here.
Tuppence, I need your help with the horses.
Coming.
Between the two of you, who are very good with animals, you're not able to calm them down in like the instant after they come out of this paralysis. They are definitely spooked. You're going to have to use a little bit of magical healing probably to fix some claw marks in one of them. But eventually, between both of your soothing and your ability to like communicate with them on their level, you get them calm enough that they're ready to proceed forward. But it seems like you maybe lost like an hour or two probably because of that. Yeah, you survived the encounter and scared away the lion drake.
Boy.
Good job, everyone. And yeah, so eventually you get the horses calmed and everyone is back on the road. Yeah, I'll turn it back over to you.
Tuppy keeps looking up at the trees, expecting another one to come down.
Right. That was a bit scary.
Is everyone all right? Does anyone else need healing?
Be fine in the morning.
All right.
At least it wasn't a snake.
Who is that?
Its neck was kind of snake-like.
Yeah, I was gonna say it kind of looks a little bit.
Yeah, Torin like keeps retelling the story of how he jumped on it. And by the time he's done at the end of the day, the thing is like 10 feet higher than it was above the river.
Why is he talking
Yes,
to us,
sorry.
though?
We were all there.
He's just like, remember when it was like 20 feet over the river and I jumped off the back of the cart. That was so
Okay.
cool.
Yeah,
That sort of
okay,
thing.
okay.
He's just excited about it.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Cool. Then yeah, another day passes. The next day comes and it's again kind of rather uneventful. You're starting to leave sort of the snowy part of the tundra behind, though there's still little bits on the ground here and there. And yeah, it's starting to actually feel like spring. Is there anything the group of you would like to do during those next couple days while you travel?
Happily pass the alchemy jug around.
Another party in the back of the wagon?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm also, I think, gonna change my armor type to the infiltrator style instead of the guardian style.
Does Vert work out any sort of details on his new alias?
He probably does. I need to think about it still.
Okay.
But
I mean, that's fair. Yeah, you can take time to think about it and just tell the group by like next week. But throughout this time, Vert kind of thinks about that, I suppose.
yeah,
Kind of, you'd probably have to like start coaching Torin and the rest of the group on your new name and identity and the story you're going with.
right.
And Tuppy keeps badgering him with really stupid suggestions as usual.
Mm-hmm.
Like what?
Oh, like some form of rook, like, oh well, you could be kook instead. Or,
Coor? Or like Rocco?
yeah, Rocky.
Rack,
Mm,
Rick.
Rick.
Ooh, I like Rick. Didn't we know a Rick once? Wasn't he cool?
Not us. Surely.
Yeah, Rick was, what was her name? Hilda's husband, right?
Mm-hmm.
Back in Redwater.
I know. What about Ruckus?
Ruckus.
Ooh.
Yeah,
name.
I like Ruckus.
Ruckus isn't really low profile though.
Yeah, I mean, I have some other disguises that I've used before, so I could draw on that bank, or I could come up with something new. But I'm
Well,
not sure
you
yet.
think about that.
Yeah.
And we'll just say that during this time, you're sort of educating the group on your new alias. Let's see, it comes about to, I think, the 6th night of your travels. You'll probably, or I guess no, it'd be more like the 5th night of your travels. You'll probably be getting to Fymyr within like 2 more days from now. So you're starting to see, the road kind of widening. You're passing more and more travelers as you get closer to the big city. One night, when the group of you are camping, I assume that you kind of rotate the watch.
We all nodded for the benefit of the podcast.
Yeah. There's a night, it's kind of a cool night, but it's very clear. There's no like clouds in the sky and you can see all the stars up above. The moon as well in kind of its, special shattered form that most of you have grown accustomed to now, glimmers above in the sky. And the time comes around for, it's kind of like the deepest, darkest part of the night, which I think would probably normally be left to Elwyn and her superior dark vision. And the time comes for Elwyn's watch. Who would be the person just before Elwyn?
Maybe Embers, because I do like to take watch.
Okay. Yeah, so Embers, your turn at watch is ending and it's just about time to shake Elwyn out of her trance.
Are you ready? I'm about headed to sleep.
Yeah. Anything interesting out there?
All quiet as far as I can see. It's a nice night though.
It is nice. Night when you can see the moon is a good night to me.
Mhm.
Well,
Anyway.
I hope you can get some rest.
Peaceful watch to you.
Thank you.
So Elwyn, you take the watch, and like Ember said, it's a really quiet night. You can occasionally hear like an owl hooting, and you can hear the sounds of, certain like forest bugs off, in the distance, like crickets chirping and things like that. You occasionally see like a bat or two fly overhead. And yeah, like I said, it's a very clear night. So you have a very, unobstructed picture of the moon high above, in its now sort of like eye-like shape, with the debris forming sort of the angled sides of the eye as it peers down on the world from above, the big gaping hole in the center. And like an hour passes into your watch and things are nice and quiet. And then all of a sudden, from not too far away from you, but sort of behind you, you hear an ahem.
Turn around.
There's a sort of a stump at the edge of the campground. And there seems to be a woman sitting like almost draped across it, looking very comfortable. She has very much sort of like the same dark purplish sort of skin tone as like the masked lady. And in fact, it looks very similar in a lot of regards, similar kind of like white hair. But unlike the masked lady, who's very much like a slim figure, this woman's a little bit shorter, a little bit curvier, and she has like light red eyes. And she's wearing sort of like this dainty sort of like white silver tiara type thing on the top of her head. And she just kind of looks over at you and says, "Well, I've been sitting here for some time, darling. I've been waiting for you to notice me."
Well, you should have said something earlier. Have we met?
"Oh, no, darling, we haven't had the pleasure, but I've watched you from afar and I've been waiting for the opportunity." And she kind of stands and strides over with a little bit of a saunter to her step and
stand and
sits
I take
on
a
one of the
step
logs closer towards
back.
you.
When she stands, I stand, and I'm kind of taking a step back from her as she approaches.
"Oh, there's no need to be afraid, darling." And now that she's kind of stepped closer within like the light of the fire, you can actually see that she's wearing, you could see before that she was wearing a dress, but now that she's stepped into the fire and she's, out of the dark vision and into regular vision, you can see that the dress is like the same color red as her eyes, but it has these kind of like black, like frilled accents to it.
Can I see her ears? Or her ears?
Yeah, her ears they're pointed.
Okay.
In fact, they're
Like
actually quite
fey
long
pointed?
points.
Like
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Well, what can I do for you, Miss?
"Oh, I've gone by many names, but darling, you can call me the Weaver or just Weaver. And there's not really anything you can do for me per se. I just wanted a chance to meet you, to say hello, introduce myself."
And why is that? What interest might you have in me?
"Oh, well, I'm an acquaintance. I actually know her quite well. Of your friend, the masked lady."
Let's see. Funny, she's never mentioned you to me before.
"Well, she wouldn't, would she? She's quite secretive."
Yes. Yes, she is.
"Doesn't that bother you at all?
Well, I reckon she has her reasons, just like anybody.
Or maybe she just doesn't trust you with the truth. It would bother me."
Well, you and I seem to be very different people.
Perhaps. I think we have a number of similarities too."
Oh, enlighten me.
"Well, we both value the truth, don't we? We don't like to be lied to. Am I wrong?"
No.
"That's why I don't really understand why it doesn't bother you that, your masked lady, that she lies to you so much." She kind of leans closer towards you, puts her hand under her chin.
trust her that she'll tell me the truth when she's ready. It
She told
does bother
you,
me, but it's not my place to be angry about it.
isn't it your place to know the truth about things that affect your life, though? She told you one truth, about your father's secret and set you on your quest. But don't you wonder why she did that?
What do you want?
Oh, nothing in particular. Nothing in particular.
Why are you
I
trying
just-
to undermine her?
I just
What
wanted
kind
to
of
chat.
acquaintance did you? How did you say you knew her again?
We're family. The two of us.
I see.
I know her probably better than anyone else. Your power doesn't come from her,
It doesn't.
as much as she'd like you to believe that.
And what would you have me believe?
Oh, no, that's not my place to say. But I think you should ask her. There's a number of things you should ask her that she could tell you that she doesn't. Where your power comes from, where your mother is, what her name is. I could go on.
I reckon it's not your place to say any of that either.
Mm.
Now, it's a
No.
fine night, and I think you're kind of spoiling it. So it's a pleasure to meet you, but I ask that you leave us in peace.
Very well, very well. I'll take my leave. There's no need to be hostile. Like I said, I just wanted to chat. But if you do ever want to pry the secrets out of her, well, I'll be around. And she gives you a little wink, and then she just begins to stride away.
I'm just going to stand and watch as she leaves, gripping the staff really, really hard, ready to do anything.
There's no hostile action. She doesn't turn back and look at you. She just kind of walks off into the forest.
Can I make a retroactive perception or insight check? There are a couple things that I want to.
Sure, yeah, go for it. Whichever one you want to, depending on what you're looking for.
Well, there's probably multiple things, but one thing is I'm just kind of scouring her for anything on her person that might give me any information as to her connection or lack thereof to my hometown or to my past. So that
Sure.
would be perception, I assume.
Mhm.
So I'll do that first. Okay, that's real bad. I'm not gonna roll that die anymore. That's an 11.
Yeah, you're kind of flustered in the moment, like looking her over. You can't connect any dots, but there is something that stands out to you about her tiara. And in the moment, you can't quite put it together, but there was definitely something symbolic or important about it. The other thing I'll say with that is that after she left, you notice that there's something like glittering in the snow kind of by the fireplace where she was sitting.
Look, take a closer look. I'm not gonna touch it.
Yeah, there's like a little brooch there. And it's just it's made of the same sort of like thin, spindly sort of white silver as her tiara. And it just seems to, it's very simple, but it has like 8 points to it. That just kind of comes to a center circular area. And then written in the snow there says, in Elvish, if you ever do want answers, just give this to her and ask. But you didn't see her place that there.
No. Well, that doesn't surprise me though. I'm going to just take a piece of cloth out of my bag, pick it up with the cloth, wrap it up, and stuff it away. And yeah, just probably not going to glean anything with her insight check, but just a retroactive insight check of just, yeah, I just want to get a better read on her.
Yeah, go for it.
Which dice is going to screw me the least?
Not that one.
Not that one. I have a really good bonus to insight too, which is a shame because I keep rolling like crap every time I try to roll insight. This is 14.
Yeah, I mean, whatever you as Kay and Embers as a character, or sorry, Elwyn as a character, whatever you feel, that's what you feel. You don't really glean anything else off of her. She is slippery.
Yep. All right. Okay. Yeah, I think I'll just, once she's gone, clearly gone, and I pocket the brooch, and I'll just kind of sit there. I'll sit back down and just clutching the staff really tightly and processing and not really paying attention to the surroundings anymore.
And that's when the lion drake attacks again.
Yep.
No. Who would have been next to take watch then? I mean, it can be
Maybe
Torin,
me.
but sure,
Yeah.
okay.
Rook or
Okay.
Teppy, either one.
Then yeah, Rook, that's kind of the state you find Elwyn in when it's your time to, wake up and take the watch.
Okay. Is she trying to hide the fact that she's like clearly,
Well, she probably doesn't
Frustrated.
notice you come out, so you'll be able to see her
okay.
in this state.
Yeah. So, yeah, Rook will come out of the tent and be like, "Is everything okay?"
Oh, is it time for your watch already?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. I had a little bit of a weird encounter with someone I've never seen before.
Okay. But they're gone.
Yeah. Well, you remember what you were saying the other night about not trusting the masked lady and how she's being secretive and
Yeah.
yeah, well, this person agrees with you.
I'd
I
like
don't
to
know
meet
who
this
she
person.
was, but she claimed to be family, some kind of relative. She
Family
didn't
of the
seem
masked
like-
lady.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know. She gave me a bad vibe. I don't trust her, and I don't trust anyone who's trying to undermine anyone like that. But I mean, she did have a point.
Hmm.
I don't know what to make of it, but she did say she's been watching me, so I don't know what to do.
Well, I mean, I don't trust the masked lady as much as you do, and I probably trust this person even less, given what you're telling me. And I don't know if any of us can really truly understand what gods and demigods want to do, what amuses them. So I think you should do whatever you think sounds right, whatever you believe in.
I mean, the masked lady never even told me she had any family. And what if
I'm
this
sure
is-
she hasn't told you a lot of things.
But what if this is all made up? What if this creature is not even who she says she is?
In the back of your mind, you hear, so you just recall the "your power doesn't come from her" line that the Weaver said. It just kind of repeats.
Well, I mean, are you gonna ask the masked lady about it?
I think I have to.
Okay, I think that's a good place to start. If you trust her, at least to have this conversation. Maybe she'll not want to talk about it, but that's a start, at least for your peace of mind.
Anyway, do you mind if I stay up with you? I don't
don't
feel
mind.
like being alone right now.
Yeah, I don't mind. So he'll kind of cozy up next to her then, and they'll keep watch together for as long as she wants to stay up.
Okay. And yeah, the rest of the night passes uneventfully.
Cool.
Morning comes around, Torin stretches. Well, how'd everyone sleep? I slept great.
Very
That's
well,
good,
thank you.
Torin. Did you jump on any lion drakes in your dreams, Torin?
No,
I'd love to
not
hear
tonight.
about it.
Not
Okay.
tonight.
Unfortunate.
Did you tame any in your dreams?
I wish. Someday. Yeah, so the group of you get back on the road. Your 6th day and night of your travels pass uneventfully. You come to the 7th day when you'll probably be arriving at Fymyr towards the end of the day. Let's roll a random encounter. If it's a combat, we'll switch to something else because we probably don't have time, but we'll see what comes up. Who wants to roll the d4?
The lady's turn.
Yeah. Tag team it.
Hope you can
Okay.
do it.
I'll roll the
I'll do the
first.
second one.
I'll roll it first.
Roll 3. Oh, a
Phew.
2.
A 2.
Oh boy.
Okay, you haven't rolled on this table before. Let's have another d4 roll.
Another one.
Another 1. Okay. You are traveling down the road, and there's a part where the road kind of disappears under some, last remaining snowbanks. And when you get to that part of the road and you're kind of navigating the wagon around those snowbanks, you can hear a little ways off the road, like the sound of a rumbling engine, which some of you might have heard before, from like some sort of motorized vehicle.
What's that?
That piques my interest. I would like to investigate.
Okay. It seems to be coming your direction, so you don't have to like go off to investigate at all. It's not long before a group of individuals, there's probably about 5 altogether. It seems like most are dwarves. There's a couple genasi sprinkled in there as well. And there's a human woman who seems to be kind of directing them. Are sort of they're riding on these vehicles. Like each one of them seems to have their own one of these vehicles. It's sort of like a small, personal sized thing. And it has.
We just encounter a motorcycle gang.
No, it's not like a 2-wheeled thing. It's like a bunch of wheels surrounded by a tread. Effectively, these are like
Like little
I mean,
tanks.
it kind of
Snowmobiles? Or?
Yeah, like snowmobiles, basically.
Oh, okay.
And they seem to be having a little bit of trouble navigating now that like the snow has all melted, because these vehicles that they're on seem to be designed more for, driving on the snow. And this human woman is trying to direct them to like stick to snowbanks and head back towards Fymyr. And they don't seem to have noticed you yet.
Tepe will look at Embers and say, wow, I bet that really gets Rook's motor running.
Embers just laughs.
You want to go check it out? Want to go
Kind
say
of.
hello?
Yeah, sure. I'm kind of curious about these people.
I might be able to make some ice for them. I don't know how well it does on ice.
Okay. As you approach, the human woman sees you and she waves at you and says, "Oh, hi.
Well,
Oh. Seem to be having a little bit of trouble.
Yes, the snow seems to be melting quite quickly. We're just trying to get back to Fymyr. We've been, out here in the wilderness, tracking, the animals of the area. They've been kind of behaving weirdly, kind of strange deviations in the annual rhythms. We've just kind of been watching them.
Like what?
I'm sorry, did I introduce myself? I'm Katya, by the way.
hey,
Gotcha.
Katya.
Hi. My
And
name's
she kind of gestures to the group of people with her. We don't really have a fancy group name or anything, but the group of us here, we're just, local rangers based out of Fymyr. It was real snowy, real unseasonably snowy until just recently.
Yeah, we just
What-
left it.
What can
behind.
you tell
That's
me
very
about the
strange.
strange animal patterns you mentioned?
Oh, it's just, well, birds were starting to come back, for the start of spring, and then these strange weather patterns started up, and they flew away again. North to warmer parts of the empire. Things like that.
Hmm.
Bears, coming out of hibernation and then going back.
Well,
Very
that's kind
strict.
of understandable with the weird weather.
Yeah. Has it been weird as you've been traveling further down the road?
Oh yeah, it was. But the blizzard had cleared up and it seems spring is here to stick now.
Interesting. I wonder. She just kind of like throws her hands up.
I
Nature
mean,
is a
I could-
mystery sometimes.
I don't think that it's within our power of understanding, really. It's just
Yeah. Well, certainly not within
nature.
ours. I've been a ranger out here 20, 25 years, but never seen anything like it. And, it's gone too quick for me to figure it out. So the rest of her group seems to be like struggling to get one of these snowmobiles up over a particularly muddy patch of ground right now.
Do you need a little bit of assistance getting these things back in the snow? Because we can try to help. We have a muscle man back there, and I can maybe make some ice for you.
Got a cart. We could hook it up.
Yeah, we can pull with a cart too.
That would actually be very helpful. We've got a ranger's lodge not far from here. If you could, just help us tow us a little ways up the road, that would be good. Or at least take one or two of us back so that we could get some horses to come pull these the rest of the way. In
Yeah,
fact,
I reckon
that's
we could
probably
do
the best plan. And she kind of deputizes one of the genasi to be, in charge while she's gone. And she says, if you don't mind, I'd love to just hitch a ride on your wagon up to this ranger station, and then I'll be out of your hair.
Sounds good.
Sure.
Sure. Hop on in.
Yeah. So Katya kind of climbs on in to the back of the wagon. Sorry, I don't think I caught it. Where are the group of you headed?
What a
Where are you
five
going
here.
Mhm.
For
check out the
business, to
capital?
stay?
Oh, passing through on the way to Amberhearth.
Oh,
Right.
And going to rom-com.
I've heard about that. I haven't really read too many romance novels myself. Any recommendations? She looks at Embers.
Yeah.
Embers?
I don't know if you'd like them.
Oh, come on.
Well, what's a good place to start? Beginner's first romance novel.
Well, the works of Gloriana Hartwood are obviously very popular.
I think I've heard of her, him,
Yes.
that,
her,
them.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I think I've heard of her.
She'll be at the convention. You could get a book. You could get a book signed.
Like, gets a little startled at that. Yeah, I suppose I could.
That's where I'd start if I were you. They're a little bit more exciting than the other varieties. But Ambers, I didn't know you liked romance novels.
Ellen, I was in prison for 20 years. What do you think I did with myself?
Well, I didn't want to assume. Wait, who do you like to read?
I'm trying to remember the name. I'm like blanked. I made up.
There's a
character, I'm
whole
so
page
ashamed.
on World
I
Anvil
know.
about.
Let's see. Let me
novel
pull up my
authors.
Fymyr note. It was the one who's
know.
got like a feline bent to
Right,
their writings,
right.
right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you gotta,
Let's
you
see.
gotta,
Alice Rose Dancer.
Yes.
Is that the one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alice Rose Dancer is so good. She's so good.
Alice Rose Dancer. I don't think I've ever read anything by her. Really?
She's kind of niche. I don't know if you like
Oh.
her.
I have got. Do you have any of her books with you right now?
No.
Oh, we have got to get some for our library.
If we can.
and what was Thaddeus's pen
Thomas
name?
Moongleam.
Thomas.
Yeah.
Thomas Moongleam.
Yeah. Thomas Moongleam. Yeah.
Yeah, Thomas Moongleam I like quite a bit, actually.
I've not read that one. Is that a
I
title?
think I have a copy, actually, of his newest book in my bag right now.
No?
Yeah. Picked it up in Port Horizon Trail. It's not quite as good as his first one, but it's all right.
May I borrow it?
Of course, of course. I like fish it out. Actually, I think it's in the big stack of books that Bert
Yeah.
was unpacking the last time. So I like dig it out. Here you go. Here it is.
Had to like
The-
restack them.
The Princess and the Paladin.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep. Yeah. I mean, it's not very realistic, but it's a fun romp.
Does it have a happy ending?
Oh yes.
Oh, good.
Don't spoil it, Owen.
I don't like the ones that don't have
He
happy endings.
asked. If she didn't want to know, she wouldn't have asked.
Katya looks around at the wagon and sees that there's like a bunch of books, right? Because you
Yeah.
unpacked them. Yeah.
Yeah.
She sees the book. She sees all the books and she says, "Oh, I don't know why I didn't think about this, but you're passing through Fymyr and headed to elsewhere. Do the group of you work for the Imperial repositories or something?"
No, we just love to read.
Oh,
Yeah, we
well, I mean, you mentioned you had a library, so I thought maybe.
we're planning to put one in our new keep up in Amberhearth.
Speaking of Amberhearth, actually. Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't range up that way, but I do have, other ranger contacts who, do go a little farther north. I've actually heard some stuff about Amberhearth lately, some disconcerting rumors. If you're going that way, you should probably be careful.
what's that?
Well, one of my ranger contacts was saying that most of the citizens of Amberhearth had to flee town recently. I didn't catch what from, but I guess the wardens up in Ardalier are pretty busy dealing with, the whole rebellion thing. So I don't know what's going on exactly, but from what I understand, the town's mostly evacuated at the moment.
I had not heard that, but we've been stuck in the blizzard for a few days.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Aw.
That makes sense. Well, I mean, whatever it is, I think it's been going on for at least a little while.
It's interesting. I kind of
Yeah,
look at Malt.
Sorry, I don't know all the details, but yeah, if you're going that way, you should be careful.
Thanks for the warning. We will.
And listen, I mean, if you are setting up a library up in Amberhearth, if that's what you want to do, you should maybe talk to, the folks over at the Argent Athenaeum about setting up an Imperial repository. It's a pretty good deal from what I understand for, towns who want up and coming, libraries in their area.
What did she call it?
Oh, an Imperial repository?
No, what was the thing right before it?
Oh, the Argent
The
Athenaeum?
Argent Athenaeum.
Argent
That's where
Athenaeum.
we're.
Okay.
Yep, that's where we're going in Fymyr.
That's where Romcom.
Oh,
Rom-con
okay,
is
got
held.
it, got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
And
the
all
big
the
old
research.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, if you haven't heard of them, I mean, the Imperial repositories, they're like branch libraries to the Athenaeum. And then couriers ferry books back and forth between the two.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's worth looking into if you're looking to set up a serious library. Now that
Yeah, that's a good tip. Thank
Now
you.
that
I didn't
Ardelir
know
is
that-
part of the Empire, it should be possible. But I mean, yeah, you'd have to. The wardens up there will have to figure out what's going on in Amberhearth before you can do any of that.
Right, of course. Of course.
And she kind of
Interesting.
pops her head out the wagon. Oh, this is it. This is the lodge just on the left. So I'll be getting out here. Thanks again for the ride. What were you? What did you say your names were again?
Well, I'm Elwyn.
Oh, I'm Embers. And
Teppy.
this is Coco.
Pointing to Rook.
Nice to meet you.
Well, Coco, Elwyn, Embers, Tuppy. It was, and Torin, of course. Who could forget the loud man in the corner? It was nice to meet all of you. Thank you again for the ride.
Of course. You take care out there, all right?
Yeah, thank you, and best of luck on your travels north. And she kind of waves as your wagon continues onward.
Looks at Embers.
Hmm.
Coco.
Hungry. I want some chocolate.
I
First
know
thing-
it's the brownie smell. I know. I'm sorry.
First thing I can think of.
Okay.
Well, I think I have some hot cocoa left over. Do you want me to make
Oh
some?
yes.
All right. Make some hot cocoa for everybody.
Coco would like some cocoa too, please.
Bring out a little tiny chocolate tart that I was saving. Here you go, Embers.
Oh, thank you. And Elbows, Ellen, hot cocoa.
Mhm, mhm. All right, all right. You know, I expect this from Tuppence, but from you too, Embers? Come on.
Going to rom-com. I'm in the mood.
Oh, nice.
Or a
And
hot
yeah,
cocoa for everybody.
with that, the rest of the day passes pretty uneventfully. You, like I said, start to pass more and more, travelers. And as you finally come within sight of the city, you get your first glimpse of it. And there is a big city wall, the biggest city wall you've seen since Port Horizon Shroud, that seems to surround the outskirts of the city. There are various like small suburbs that kind of spring up outside of the city and spill out along the roads going out of town. But the entire city seems to be built directly in front of the slopes of this big mountain. And even from here at a distance, you can see that some of the buildings seem to actually merge into the mountain and the town continues back into it. So a part of the city is within the mountain and a part of the city is outside the mountain. And as you approach the city gates, you can see that this main road comes kind of up to like a southeastern gate of the city. And you can see that on either side of the gate are these like massive humanoid statues, except there's something sort of strange about their physiology. Like they have slightly elongated heads that seem a little bit unnatural. The group of you could roll, I'd say, history or arcana checks as you approach,
Sure. Oh, I have no idea what they are.
or even nature, perhaps.
It's 19 on history for me.
Let's see. Nature and history is the same. So history, 23.
23.
Hmm.
And Tuppence?
16 on a nature.
Okay. So Tuppence, you're pretty sure that the statues flanking the gate, these massive stone things, are actually depicting stone giants. And Elwyn and Embers. Elwyn, what was your check? Was it what
20,
check did you make?
23. History.
History. Okay, yeah, both history. So this would be things that you learned sort of in your studies. Elwyn, probably because your homeland does have sort of a connection to
Well,
giants
I studied
to some
too.
degree.
I went through
Yeah.
the academy and I did all my, yeah.
So that's what I'm saying is I think that this city probably would have come up as like a focus of a section of your study, since a section of your study might have had to do with giants, since Alvaria does have a bit of a connection there. And Embers, yeah, probably it would have come up in one of your readings while you were in prison. But the city of Fymyr a long, long time ago, used to be sort of a joint city where dwarves and stone giants lived together peacefully. And it was kind of like a haven against, the turmoil of the outside world. But at one point, the stone giants left. And it seems that even now, all these years later, there are statues that venerate these stone giants that were part of the founding of the city. And as you approach the gates, you can see that there's actually a large crowd formed at each of the main city gates trying to get in. And it looks like there are guards, posted at the gates who are speaking with each group of people as they come into the city. And that's where we'll pick up next time. So yeah. Before we do our closing, Melissa, didn't you have something you wanted to do?
Yes, I was just getting to that. Good timing. Okay, so in honor of all the work that our lovely DM does, I want to say loud to our wise and noble master who tasks us to avoid disaster. We oft run amok while pressing our luck, but he's always a little bit faster.
That's great.
Oh, that's adorable.
Oh, so good. Take inspiration.
Take inspiration. Actually, though, you can take inspiration on your sheet. That was great. Thank you. That's so sweet. So on that lovely note, we will end today's episode. Thank you to any who tuned in to watch. Thank you, of course, to all of you lovely players. We'll be back with more of this Monday, 7 p.m. Pacific time. Hope to see you then. Bye.
And a new special
Bye.
guest.
And a new special guest.
New
Yes.
special guest next week. Oh my gosh. Who could it be?